So the next option we are going to see is how we are going to build a Docker image. Okay. If you see the same repo, in the repo, I have a Docker file. You see there in the Kubernetes Java, you can see I have a Docker file. So what it will do, it will use the Tomcat as my base image, and then it is going to delete the contents of the Tomcat WebOps folder, and from the directory, it is going to copy the var file into the Docker file, and then it is going to expose the port number 8080, and it is going to run the catalina.sh to start the Tomcat. Okay, so this is my Docker file. Let's see, how do I build this Docker file and push this to the Docker Hub account? So let's do that. So for that, I need to install two plugins. So the plugin name are Docker and Docker Pipeline. Let's install both of them. So Docker. So there are two plugins I need to install. One is Docker and Docker Pipeline. Let's install without restart. These are the two plugins. Docker and Docker Pipeline. Let me select, restart the Jenkins. The installation is completed. Let us configure the global tools, manage Jenkins, and click on global tools configuration. And there you would see a new option for Docker. Add Docker and name it as Docker, and select install automatically, and select download from docker.com and the Docker version latest. So this will download the Docker CLI on the Jenkins or on the machine where it is running. But even though we need a Docker daemon to be available, so for that we will install the Docker daemon on the master. That is the same thing what we used to do for Docker installation. Let's do the same thing. But first, let me do the global tools configuration. Name is Docker, install automatically, and download from docker.com and use the latest version. Click on save. So now let us install the Docker daemon, and the Jenkins should have access to the Docker daemon. So let's do that. So let me log into the Jenkins master and log in as CentOS. And there, let me install Docker. Okay, so here I'm going to install the Docker Community Edition. The problem here is if I install the normal version, it will install a very older version. So for that, let me add a repo. First, let me add a repo, sudo config manager. Just run this sudo config manager, and after that sudo yum install docker-ce. We are doing this on master.
Okay.
Because in the slave we already have the Docker installed, right? So sudo systemctl start Docker. sudo systemctl docker and then sudo user mod -a -g docker. After this, let me restart the Jenkins so that the new privilege it will reload, right? So sudo systemctl restart guys. My restart is completed. So is it complete for you guys? After that, Docker installation configuration. So now let us see, write a pipeline which will build this Docker file first. So new item. Docker. Pipeline. So here, let me define two environment variables. In that, I'm going to define my image name, okay, and I'm going to define a variable in which I'll be storing the image name. So let's see that image name equal to, I'm going to store this on my Docker Hub account. So let me name it with that. So Java app and Jenkins training variable called Docker image equal to empty value I'm going to put. So I'm going to put them under the environment variables. Environment, and then let me define agent tools even Docker tool Docker. Then let me define the stages. Stage full SCM steps. From Sonar. Coliseum. Let me define the stage. Build. SH because the Docker file is inside this Kubernetes Java folder. So I'm going to provide -f, and then the Maven target is clean installed. And next is stage build Docker image script. So I'm going to call the Docker image to docker.build build. And that I'm going to provide the first image name. So this is the variable I have the image name, right? Image name. $image name. And this Docker file is inside the Kubernetes Java folder. So I'm going to provide the location where the Docker file is available. So from the work directory, it will be inside the Kubernetes Java folder. You can provide that. So this will build the Docker image, and this Docker image variable, I will use it later. We'll talk about that. So that's why I have just nullified the value. So let me save this. Let me build now. So it is building the Maven. And it is trying to download that. So it is need a Tomcat base image. So it is completed now. So go to the Jenkins master and do a sudo docker images. I should be able to see there is a image with this name has been created with the latest tag. So till now, what we have done is we have created the Docker file, right? And this Docker file we are going to as of now, the Docker file is available only with the Jenkins. Okay, so I need to push this to a centralized repository. Then only my Kubernetes will be able to come and download it and it can use it, right? So let's see, how do we do that? I need to have a credentials configured so that my Jenkins will be able to communicate to my Docker Hub and it will be able to push the images, right? So let's create that first. Show dashboard. Manage Jenkins and manage credential and Jenkins and global credentials. Let me add a credential with username and password because Docker Hub uses the username and password. So provide your Docker Hub user ID and password. Let me call it as Docker Hub. So I'm saving it as Docker Hub. I'm providing my Docker Hub user ID and password. Now let me modify the Docker pipeline. There I'm going to provide the Docker Hub user ID, the credentials in the environment first. registry registry credentials equal to Docker Hub. Let me define the registry credentials to Docker Hub. And then let me create a stage called stage push Docker image steps script Docker dot with registry quotes comma registry credentials and here let me push the image with two names, one with the build number and one with the latest. So Docker image dot push dollar build underscore Docker dot push. So I'm just updating the latest tag and also the specific build number. This is for this is for the script, this is for the step, and this is for the particular stage. And next, as a best practice, I'm going to remove unused. Yes. So it's always a best practice to remove the unused images. So steps search Docker RMI dollar image name colon dollar build number, and the same way let me also remove the latest image. So image name, just image name is enough because that will remove the latest tag. So I'm storing the Docker credentials in the with the credentials ID Docker Hub, and with the Docker Hub credentials ID, right, with the registry credentials, I'm pushing the image twice, one with the latest tag and one with the build number. So let's say the build number was 10, so it will push images with the latest tag and also the specific build number. So let us save this and let's build now and let's see what is going on. Okay, login has succeeded. So if you see that it is pushing a build number with 2, and it is also going to push the latest tag, and it is going to delete the unwanted images. So if you check your Docker Hub now, you can see 2 images has been created. So it is having latest and 2.